guys, so we're gonna do our weigh-in today. Let's see what we're at. Hey guys, what's up? So I wanted to do my first official video kind of as a weight loss video. I think this is going to be something that applies to a lot of people. A little bit of background, this last summer, right around the end of July, I was 299 at my lowest. And then in the following months, we lost our gym, and the holidays came around and other things. And what once was a day of 20,000 steps, exercise, all these things, the sauna and everything, has now become, working out at the apartment complex gym and doing workouts in my garage. And then the holidays hit, and we all gain a little bit of weight during the holidays. So for me, I weighed myself yesterday. I was at 327. Now, I don't think it's entirely 327 because the weekend was before me. I've still been on my hydration. Just a gallon of water is about 8.5 pounds. So it is not weird at all to see your weight fluctuate so much throughout the days. There's so much that goes into it. So my goal is to try to lose as much weight by Christmas Day as I can. I have about 13 days. Here is me stepping on the scale, yesterday. So I was about 327. And then in my photo, because I wanted to put a timestamp, since we don't have newspapers anymore, I put my iPad down. It was a little heavier just because I'd already started drinking some water. But that's me at the start of this. So 327, I want to see what I can get down to. I think maybe I could get to 310. Just depending on how much water and stuff I was holding from the weekend, because I'm the bigger guy, so I hold a little bit more. Most diets are meant to be long, sustainable, keep you sane. Good rule of thumb from what I've seen with most dietitians is about 1% per week. So if I'm 300 pounds, a normal healthy weight would be about losing 3 pounds a week. When you're heavier, you got more to lose. Whereas if I was 230 and 5% body fat, it's going to be tough too. But a lot of people find themselves in these sticky situations where it's like, I need to get ready for a wedding. I want to go out and look good because we have a girls or guys trip planned in the next couple weeks. So they want to look as best they can and feel good in their clothing and stuff. So they practice these crazy fringe behaviors and stuff like that. You've heard 800 calories, 1200 calories a day diets and stuff, but people never maintain them long term. Diets are not meant to be sustained long term. They're a tool to help you get to a new weight. You learn to kind of eat around there. You have a new set point with your body weight, body fat. We want our diet to work for us, right? So at this approach, I am going to make sure that my calorie deficit really benefits me. So I'm not going to be upping my cardio like a madman, doing 2-a-days with my workouts, and trying to do extra stuff here and there, and put on the wraps and stuff to sweat everything out. I'm going to be doing a huge deficit and keeping the volume that I've had relatively the same at what I've been doing the last couple of weeks. Because when people try to up the volume, intensity, and frequency and decrease the calories, you start to hit a wall, and it's not fun. Pros to this is that this will be quicker weight loss for me because I'm much heavier, 327 pounds, just borderline 330. So I have a lot of weight to lose. So I could really put a dent in this. 2, it's a sprint. I'm doing this for 13 days. So I think it's feasible in terms of getting my weight down. How much? I don't know. I've never really done it. I've done it way back in the past, but I did the exact same thing I would be totally against now, and upping my volume and exercise frequency and lowering my calories next to nothing. And then the last thing that's the good thing about this is a guaranteed deficit, as opposed to somebody who slowly takes out 200 calories for their deficit, but maybe they don't measure things right, and they take that one big serving of peanut butter that they think is just one serving, and it actually is 3. Right there, mismanaging that, and that can lead to frustration for people not being able to, what's wrong? Why am I not losing weight? But there's so many other factors that go into this too, with water intake, your stress, all these things. And so it's really hard. Nobody can predict their weight the next day. And some days you think you'd be lower and you're up 2 pounds. It's crazy. I want to show you, here's the energy balance picture. So intake and everything we're expending more calories than we're taking in. That's energy balance. That's, kind of the basis for weight loss. Calories in, calories out. I'm sure you've heard it at some point in time. And then the next one is going to be kind of what we're looking at for our day. So here's my test from my resting metabolic rate. And this is why I blew 2,400 calories is really not a lot. And I'm curious because normally I blow 28 to like 32 in the times past that I've done it. But also I haven't been as active and everything. So who knows? But I have a benchmark and I can retest in a few weeks and see if there's anything there. But it takes a long time for those things to change. But you have your resting metabolic rate, which I think accounts for like 60 to 70% of the calories you burn in the day. This is just you if you were sitting on the couch all day doing nothing. This is the calories that would be burned just for your organs to function and your body to function, your internal processes. And then you have non-exercise activity thermogenesis. This is, maybe your work requires you walk around a lot, things here and there. It's not intended exercise. Then you have exercise activity. And then the last one is thermic effect food, which is very small, but still can account for something. So the cons, well, when I lose weight, the weight loss could be from a couple different things. It could be fluid loss, stored glycogen, fat loss, muscle loss. So I will have no clue. The cons, muscle loss, losing strength, not being able to adhere for the short duration. People will just get so beat up and stuff, they can't do it. And then on top of that, that could actually make it worse for me and dig me into a deeper hole. To make sure I can combat that, I'm going to make sure that I work out and I increase my protein intake by a lot. So here's a little chart from Lane Norton's Fat Loss Forever book. Showed these ladies that they had a normal protein diet and no working out, all the way up to normal protein diet and working out, and normal protein diet, all the way up to working out and high protein diet. What they found, the ones that did normal protein diet and no working out lost weight, lost fat, but they also lost muscle. And then on the other end of the spectrum, the ones that worked out and increased their protein intake lost a lot more fat and retained much more of their muscle. So what I can extrapolate is that work out and eat a high protein diet to preserve muscle mass, as well as the signaling and stuff and telling me, hey, we're trying to work our muscles, we need to recover. In terms of protein, so we've already understood that a calorie deficit is the main priority, increasing protein intake. But most high protein diets and stuff are between 1.6 to 2.8 grams of protein per kilogram of body weight. So for myself, at 320 pounds, that is, I'm 145 kilograms, and we put it right at 2, somewhere in the middle. 2 grams of protein per kilogram of body weight would put me at 290 grams of protein daily. It's not feasible for me, 1. 2, this is assuming that I am 320 pounds of muscle. Most Olympia competitors aren't even that, like at 2%, 3%, or 4% body fat and that heavy. And they're big, just, tanks. So most of them don't even do it. So what I'm going to do is I'm shooting for at least 230 grams, because at one point I was about 230 pounds, around 10% body fat. I'm assuming I've put on more muscle throughout the years, and I would like to shoot for that. A high number, it's really high, but it's attainable. And I don't have testing methods for lean body mass right now. I don't have a DEXA scan, I don't have a bod pod, I don't have any of those things. I'm literally, these are the parameters, why this is something to be taken with a grain of salt. Here are the parameters. All these parameters on the left side is what you should do in a normal diet. All the ones on the right side are only the ones I'm doing. A couple pictures and my scale weight every day. There should be much more, but again, this is such a small thing. It is a crash diet. Here's an excerpt from my book. On the right, most people won't make it past 30 days. And on the left is, starting out 2 months is usually 3. But as you can see, they start their calories higher, kind of go lower. And then on the right side, you'll see they start their calories already super low. Their exercise and intensity and activity with frequency, duration, volume, all that all goes up. They already put themselves into a deep hole, and it's really hard to get out of. The first few days are fine because their body is slowly starting to realize the load that they're bearing, and then it really hits them. Whereas on the left side, it's just supposed to make the body feel just enough to elicit adaptations, right? And so I really, I don't want to push these things on the right at all, but so many people do it so often. So I'm kind of trying to do it and see, well, what can I do knowing the knowledge I have now? What can I do to prevent it, right? The way in, so you saw that. Here's another picture just showing this, because I drank some water, but I also wanted to show the timestamp so it was like official, right? So my iPad was down there, so I was a little bit heavier the next time I weighed in 10 minutes later. So here's my plan. I'm going to be shooting for 1,600 to 1,800 calories a day. Pyramid, our main goal, caloric deficit, high protein intake. Next up, some fats. I want to say you have essential fatty acids and essential amino acids. So for protein, fat. The essential amino acids and essential fatty acids, these are things that our body can't produce on its own. And so we need to get them from outside sources. So you'll see my grocery haul and kind of what I talk about and what I want. Those are very important because you can't live without those, and the deficiencies in the long run will really break you down. Again, we are going to be deficient regardless. We do not have a lot of food with us. We do not have a high calorie intake. So we are trying to make sure whatever we do choose is the most bang for our buck, the most nutrient dense, the highest protein. And the next up, micronutrients and electrolytes. Micronutrients, super important, and we're going to try to get those from fruits. Lastly, carbs/treats. Keeping just something there to keep us sane. It's just enough to where it's like, this won't put me over the edge and feel like I can't do this. But that's why it's at the top, and even then it can be argued, this is 2 weeks, less than 2 weeks, 13 days. So why? Like, you know, it's a sprint. And some people might find that they like the sprints more so. Like I said, Eugene Teo says he likes doing that for small periods of time rather than a long, drawn-out dieting. So I want to give this a try myself. Workout plan for 13 days. So we want to count our steps. I've been gaining around 10,000. I want to keep that up. Cardio, probably 20 to 30 minute bouts on the bike, on the treadmill. And then weights, whole body workouts, squat, push, pull, hip hinge, core, different things like that. But nothing out of the ordinary. I'm not doing 2-a-days. I'm not doing any of that because that's going to push us in the wrong direction right off the bat. So what I've already been doing, trying to maintain that. And I will see as indicators what works and what doesn't work, because I'll see maybe my cardio, just doing, you know, intensity 13 on the exercise bike is much tougher. So I'm going to start to notice that. So this is kind of my blueprint. I want to see what I can lose, what I can achieve, what I learn on this, and what works better for me and what doesn't, and how hard this will truly be, as it is very aggressive. So let's find out.